Hi, welcome to the Denville Public Board of Education meeting, August 24th, regular meeting starting at 7 in Valley View. Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Here.
Mr. Capello?
Here.
Mrs. Lindsay? Here. Mr. Cass?
Here.
Mr. Duarte? Mrs. DeLuna?
Here.
Mr. Navarone?
Mr. Napoloni sends his regrets tonight, cannot make the meeting. We have a need for executive session. We'll hold off on the pledge until the public portion at 7:30. Dina, would you like to move the executive session?
Sure. I move to convene an executive session in accordance with Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act. The purpose of this closed session will be to discuss legal and personnel issues. Minutes of the session will be made available to the public, and the need for confidentiality no longer exists.
I'll second that.
All right, then we're in executive session. Thank you.
Patrick's ready?
Okay, welcome back. We finished executive session at 7:27 p.m. and now we're ready to start the regular meeting. Public meeting, please rise for the pledge.
Microphone.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, any superintendent comments?
Yes.
Okay.
In the report on Friday, I shared with you the final numbers for new revenue that was brought in this year, and the total number was $214,765. That's new revenue into the district. I also shared with you 2 contract changes that we made, some negotiations we made with some lawyers and contracts for another $110,000 in savings. So between the savings and the revenue, $324,765. So it's pretty good, a little more, I would say double what I expected, so pretty happy. Pretty happy with those numbers. Keeping them up there is going to be a challenge. ESIP meeting on 9/8 at 6 p.m. We have 3 people, I believe now. It'll be Dino, Don, and Barb, right? And then just so that if everybody's good with it, I'd like to have the IMP meeting right after that, at the same time, at 7 p.m. Okay?
What night is it?
Tuesday the 8th.
And I will what right after?
The IMP meeting, structural program meeting.
But it's different people.
7 p.m. Right, it's different people.
Yeah.
IMP's going to be set.
IMP would be at 7, and 6 p.m. would be the meeting for ESIP, which is B&G. Good?
Works for me.
Okay.
But that's at the board office?
Yeah. The board office. Projects update. The projects around the district are going, I think, very well. We'll be wrapping some up and making some decisions on things. There might be a couple that take a little bit longer to get done and aren't totally complete before the start of the school year, but nothing that would, affect the operations of the building. It is possible that that railing might not be replaced at Riverview on time because they're saying it'll be done this Friday. So, sometimes it goes over. They'll have to make some adjustments for the drop off, and kids might have to go into a different door. It's inconvenient, but it's not the end of the world. And we're making progress. So, for that one, we're dependent on a vendor building the actual railing. The project for the drainage up at Lakeview is complete. That went great. There's some new paving up there. We did have to make an adjustment. We had planned for 10 locker replacements in Riverview, and I remember we talked about how we were going to do it with our custodian. We were going to replace the custodian. Well, the custodian that builds cabinets got sick, and he was out for about 6 weeks. So instead of doing 10 this summer, we did 5. That had to be adjusted on the fly. We replaced the garage door up at the bus garage instead of doing some of the other work we had planned. Same budget, but we felt like it was a little more important because it was broken, rather than, just more of an improvement than a repair. We put out the busing information. An email went out from me on the day that people could look at for their busing information, and then it was in the Friday folder as well. We do have a great turnaround on answers if any people have questions. We're getting back to people within the 24 hours, either email or phone, mostly email. We set up a special email address, transportation@denville.org, and the emails have been answered. Only 3 of these busing things came to me, which is even less than normal, to be honest with you. And 1 went to Damaris. So it wasn't, these were all, minor things that people were questioning and asking about. Nothing that was really a big problem. And we made a couple accommodations, but we're staying firm on not adding bus stops. We need to, if we're serious about going to the 2-tier next year and getting the middle school on Lakeview schedule, we have to be more efficient. We can't have a taxi service anymore. It has to be, where somebody can walk 2/10 of a mile or a half a mile or whatever it is, if it's in a decent neighborhood, instead of having to have a door-to-door bus service. Security meeting tomorrow at 5. And who do we have here? Who do we have going for that? Don? Anybody else going there? I know Carlos said he couldn't go to the security meetings. Can anybody else head in there tomorrow at 5? It's going to be 1 hour, 1 hour max.
Tomorrow I can, because I went into the city today instead of tomorrow,
Okay.
so my schedule got switched, so I can make it.
Okay, Riverview, 5 o'clock. It'll be 1 hour, hard stop at 6. The good thing is I've already shared with you everything, so you've had a chance to read it, digest it. The chief and I have already gone over all this stuff, so it's just a matter of really giving out the information to the team. Anybody else? We can have a third.
Is it Dave?
or-
Yeah, Dave's listed.
Dave's listed here.
I mean, if he can't, I'm happy to go.
Okay,
I can make it, but you have to let me know.
sure. I'll ask Dave. That's it for me.
Okay. Damaris, do you, oh no, Assistant Superintendent.
We continue to, our parent academy is continuing to get recognition at the state level, and I've been asked to present at the NJ Association for School Administrators to share what Denville is doing with the past. So I'll be presenting along with the assistant assistant commissioner.
Oh.
September.
Where would you be doing that?
It is in Monroe, New Jersey.
I think that's great news. You told me about it. It's great that we're being recognized as really engaging the public and good discussions, solid discussions about Common Core and park, and instruction and student success. So I think that's a great thing for our district and for you, Dr. Thomas.
Is that it?
That concludes my report.
Pretty good. Okay, now Damaris, do you have anything for VA comments?
I do. I have been working very closely with the state of New Jersey on the Special Education Medicaid Initiative, best known as SEMI, to submit our application for the first time this year. Hopefully, we can get some reimbursement of Medicaid eligible special education students.
How did we make out, like with the switching to state health, how's that looking?
With the health benefits.
With everybody kind of switching over?
Actually, Kathy Nielsen has been working on that, and she's been terrific. And so far, she has approximately 97% of all the application, all the documents in place. We have a couple of people who still have to submit documents, and it's getting very close, but it's all on staff right now. She has done everything that she possibly can to notify them, in contact with them. So at this point, it's basically waiting for.
It's seamless coverage, it's just they need to get their stuff in.
Yes, but
Kathy.
she's been in communication with the state of New Jersey. They came in 2 weeks ago and reviewed all the documents. And again, it's 97% of the documents is submitted.
So the employees will still be covered, but they won't be able to use the coverage until they satisfy all the requirements. Meaning, like, if they went to the doctor on September 10th, and they didn't have all of it in, they would have to pay, and get reimbursed later when they hand it in. That's what we had this conversation.
The coverage will be retroactive to September 1st.
Okay, at this point, we would open to the public in general for any agenda item discussion. Is there anything? No? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the agenda then. Yeah. Do you want to use the library clock, 7:40? So, under old business, Carlos, you want to take us old business?
Sure. Under old business, I'd like to move items A, B, and C. Treasurer School Building Board Secretary reports for July, the Illinois Education reports for August, and the minutes of the July 20th board.
I'll second.
So that was the one we sent. Anybody have any question about the minutes or reports?
Look good to me.
Okay, roll call please.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Capello,
Yes.
Mrs. Lindsay,
Yes.
Mr. Cass,
Yes.
Mr. Duarte,
Yes, abstain on C. I was not here for that meeting.
Mrs. DeLuna,
Yes? Okay, under new business, we have an addendum as well for adding to letter A, items F through K. Dina, would you like to move
Sure.
personnel stuff?
If there are no objections, I'd like to move items 1 through 3 in personnel. Item 1 with the addendum items F through K with the exception of item H, which is taken out.
I'll second.
That's a mouthful. And the one that's being removed, do you want to explain for the public that removal?
It's a person who resigned and is moving on to a different district, so it's no longer needed.
I'll second that. Did you get a second?
We got-
Don? Sorry.
Any questions on the personnel item?
Under 2 for A, and he's leaving after a month and a half. When the school starts.
Get 60 days, they have to give 60 days notice, so we only got the notice a couple days ago, so we have to hold them until we have a new person in place.
Any chance of entertaining offer of, like, if we get somebody early, have the transition happen both in the classroom at the same time? or-
Sure, well, the honor before is there, that's why I always want to put the honor before. So, I mean, just being realistic, I don't have a candidate for you today, so getting somebody for the first day of school definitely is not going to happen, even if I approve somebody on Tuesday
So
night.
you have to resign.
Right, all that other stuff, the fingerprints and all that. So we are, I'm hoping to have a name for you at the goal setting meeting on Tuesday, that we can approve somebody, and if everything falls into place, they'd probably be able to start somewhere around October 1st. So we'd have a little bit of transition and let the teacher go a little early.
Anything else, guys? Okay, roll call please.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Capello,
Yes.
Mrs. Lindsay,
Yes.
Mr. Cass,
Yes.
Mr. Duarte,
Yes.
Mrs. DeLuna,
Yes. Okay, next, buildings and grounds. Don, can you take us through B and G?
It doesn't appear there's anything to
Look at that. Okay.
bring
Anything
before the
in
board.
Denville?
Item B, nothing there.
Okay. Sweet.
Walk of up.
Is there anything, like with summer, getting ready for school that we should know about? Like, anything jeopardizing the first day or
Yeah,
being?
I just mentioned that the rail might not be in place. I mean, we're on target to have it in place at Riverview, but it might not be considering just being realistic. The other jobs, the other jobs that are required for school to open, we're very confident will be complete. There'll be a couple things that are going to be hanging out there, but they won't be things that are required for the opening of school.
Will any of those things require workers to be in the schools with the students?
Most likely our workers, like our people, say wiring, doing some wiring for cameras and things like that. But no, I don't believe so. I mean, you know, like installing the rail, that really is outside.
It's outside.
Yeah. Majority of the things that were inside are complete. And the things that we're still working on are our people are doing.
Thank you.
I see there's nothing under instructional program C. Do you want to bring up anything?
No, last week we had the committee, and we gave a committee report at the last meeting, so questions, I'm happy to answer them, but anything additional to report?
So under new business, personnel, letter A, Dina, can you move us through the item listed on page 5?
Sure. I would move item 1 to approve the job description which we previously received for a substitute teacher.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on this?
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Capello,
Yes.
Mrs. Lindsay,
Yes.
Mr. Cass,
Yes.
Mr. Duarte,
Yes.
Mrs. DeLuna,
Yes. And that's very light. Okay, now there's some things to move under instructional program. Under new business.
Yep, I'd like to move items 1 through 7 as a block.
I will second.
One thing I did want to make a quick comment on was that I heard from a teacher today that she has, I guess over the summer, did a teacher's college at Columbia and thought it was really, really well worth it, and really great program. So she spoke very highly of it. So we're voting on another one of these courses. So I think they're well worth it, and they seem to be appreciated by the teachers.
That happens to be the most sought after one, right? That's one where we get a ton of names and only a few get selected. Yeah.
It's also the one that we are driving from a central office perspective as our initiative that we're really focusing on. We're trying to eliminate things that are contradictory to things like this. Pushing them into the air, but really not approving things that don't complement this. And we did that now because Dr. Cullis signs all professional development forms before they come to me. So sometimes she'll feel like it's not something that's in a district initiative and it's denied.
Any questions, comments on this? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Capello,
Yes.
Mrs. Lindsay,
Yes.
Mr. Cass,
Yes.
Mr. Duarte,
Yes.
Mrs. DeLuna,
Yes. Mariana, do you want to do policy, letter C?
Sure. I would like to move for second reading and adoption, the organizational chart that we've been talking about for the past few months. And for first reading, policy and regulation 3218, policy and regulation 4218, policy and regulation 5200, and the policy and regulation 8630.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Chavis. I think all the changes we talked about at the last meeting were highlighted in yellow in the new policies and regulations that were issued to us. Although, I guess the one, Mr. Forte, that you sent, I can't remember which, it was one of the bus driver ones.
I might not have put yellow. I
Oh, so you said it, the page, whatever, 2, 5, all of them, and I couldn't figure out what changed.
All I had was, instead of saying and, I put and or. So it said that students would be trained on the use of where the axe is, which we don't have. So instead of removing them, because in case we ever put them back or whatever law changes, I just put and or, so
Okay.
they'll get the training on the things we do have. Like we have triangles, you know those triangles that you put in the road? That's not mentioned, but it says other emergency equipment, so I put and or
Okay,
to help that.
great.
Okay, so we're really just, for today, just voting on the org chart for adoption. Roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Camello,
Yes.
Mrs. Lindsay,
Yes,
Mr. Cass,
Yes.
Mr. Duarte,
Yes.
Mrs. DeLuca.
Yes? Okay, operations, anything for transportation?
Nope.
B&G, anything? Don, do you want to have from last week, or?
No.
Okay, I guess I'll do the finance. There's something on the addendum as well, the yellow sheet, item number 11, a settlement agreement for special ed case. I'd like to move as a block items 1 through 10 as listed on the agenda, plus the 11 on the addendum. Let's see, budget transfers, checklists, field trips, the non-public nursing textbook technology monies from the state, maintenance plan, facilities, Form M1, the public consulting group for Medicaid reimbursement services, and PCG for Medicaid services. The number 8 is placements for the school year. Number 9, professional support, non-public service agreements, non-public chapters, 192, 193, addendum supporting documents between the county, Denville Schools Education Service Commission, Morris County, and Black Bear Paving Excavating to remove asphalt at Lakeview, mulch bed on the building, and regrade pave. Is there a second?
Second?
Thanks. So any discussion on this? There's a lot of stuff in it. So this number 10 wasn't in our initial, this was just like we had time for Black Bear paving and excavating.
This was not an original, it was on the list of stuff we wanted to do, it wasn't an original plan. When some of the things came in well under budget, there was an area left that was really a tripping hazard and more of a safety concern at Lakeview. So we wanted to get that done because remember how we were going around and painting like orange things everywhere? We're trying to get away from having an orange paint. It's a tripping hazard. This was the worst one. It was right by the kindergarten playground.
Will it be done?
it's done, I
think
walked
it's
on
done.
it today.
Yeah, looks good, right? Doesn't it look different? And you know that no man's land where nothing grows?
Yeah, I know, you ripped
Asphalt.
out the mulch bed and the dead bushes.
Yeah, they're gonna put some,
Really grow there.
No, it's all,
Yeah.
well, you know what happens when you pay something over 10 weeks and everything else finds a way to grow all of a
they're
sudden.
gonna put a couple planters in there, so
Yeah, I
that's gotta be
figured.
more manageable.
That'd be nice. No, I walked on it today, it's all done.
Yeah, looks good.
Anything on the finance stuff, Pat? Alrighty, roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Camello,
Yes.
Mrs. Lindsay,
Okay, I have a yes, but on Bill's list, I need to abstain on check number 65929. It's to my place of employment. I'll also abstain on motion number 8 altogether.
Mr. Cass,
Yes.
Mr. Duarte,
Yes.
Mrs. DeLuca.
Yes. And that brings us to good of the cause. I think we did committee reports last week. We will certainly skip over. Is there any correspondence that
then you get your discussion items. So I guess something to note on the Board of Ed office, is that on September 11th, we will have an auction at Town Hall. We've been talking about it several times. The ads have been in the paper, and we'll see how it goes. Town Hall.
The ad will be coming out on Thursday and Saturday. This Thursday.
The ad will be coming out this Thursday?
There's a rule about how we put it out.
It's a
There's a
figure.
public inspection period too, I don't know what I
3 days before.
On the 8th, 15th, 8th.
Okay.
Yep.
What time was that again? Actual auction, do you remember?
What is it,
The
10?
auction is around,
Let me look at my calendar. I have it.
Time.
Interesting.
It's in
I
the,
don't think you could
The
do
point
it.
might buy it.
It's in Town
I
Hall.
don't like it.
Anything else to do that day?
We're having it at Town Hall in the conference room, the big conference room, not the other, not the community room, that conference room back there.
Yep,
I have 10 o'clock.
okay.
Our attorney will be there to help with the process.
Who's gonna be the auctioneer? You?
Okay, yeah, no, the attorney won't do, I should do that, it'd be kind of cool. And then the trailers, we did demo 2 trailers at Lakeview, which I think is a good start. When the county came around, they did say we need to have a plan for these trailers, we can't just keep going status quo, that we either need to put money into them or look at a way to get rid of them. So obviously, the demographic and room utilization study will help us with that. But I'm really happy to say that the 2 really bad eyesores behind Lakeview, not sure if people get back to Lake Don, you probably don't go back behind Lakeview too much. But that was an eyesore. It was
Especially
really
with
bad.
the sports colors and everything.
Yeah. So now that's gone. The 2 really bad ones are demoed. We got some topsoil and seed. We covered it up, and obviously it's gonna take some time to grow. There's a little bit of work that needs to be done back there that we're not gonna do until next year. Some site work, but we need to cut out a piece of cement. We also have to replace one section of concrete walk, but we're gonna wait till next year. It's not an emergency. There's no tripping hazard or anything like that. I'm just happy that we're at least on the way to do something with that. And the Valley View Fields, we saw the study. I know we want to put that back in B&G, but for this month, I think the ESIP has to take priority, so we can push it off until October if everybody's okay with that. I would really like to focus on ESIP on the 8th because it's a $2 million project, so I'd like to get that going. That's it for those. Does somebody else have anything?
I have a I was on the district website today, trying to find something, and ran across some stuff. I don't know how you go about it, who we should direct, but we should go and make sure it's all up to date with some of our staffing changes.
Like what, the teachers or administrators?
Well, I know like Riverview, the homepage, we have our correct principal and vice principal, but if you go to staff contacts, because his name is first, and then Grassa comes up as the principal on the top of the list. And like, I was on the CPAC site, and it still lists Larry Russell in the letter as the director. And when I went to look in the parent handbook, it's still the 2014-15 one,
Mhm. Which school was that? Is that
It's
the
only
district one?
listed on Valley View's website. I guess we don't have district handbooks anymore. I was looking as, and forgive me if this is in the Friday folders going out to parents or on the Genesis, but if you're looking to figure out about extracurricular activities and then what they're offered and what the cost is, I know we well publicized it when we did the budget, but this is the time of year when parents start trying to figure out what they're gonna do with their kids. Well, they figured out what they're doing after school, but I couldn't figure out where to find it.
I think it's going home in a packet on the first day, but
Okay,
I'll double check on that.
so it isn't on the website right now.
It should be though. I'd like to, I gave
I
them the
just wondered if
final
there was,
numbers.
I saw definitely how you can order gym uniforms, that's right
Right.
there, front and center on Valley View, but there's nothing in both the elementary schools and Valley View have, there's still a fee associated.
Yeah.
I saw when you said we won't be accepting credit cards this year, but and I may have missed it, but I couldn't find a link. I may have missed it in a Friday folder, but I couldn't find it on the link anywhere.
Right. All right, I'll look into that.
So yeah, I don't know who updates it, but whoever just asked me to.
Yep.
It may be a cost beneficial or just too complicated. these tech guys can chip in, but I mean, if you have a, you know, a new hire or a resignation and everything, there's some way to you know, eventually put them in the database that they will link into, you know, the systems that reference the people, the staff, the email, and the phone number, so that, you know, a resignation, they get swept out of there, we hire somebody, they get put in there, because you got a lot of names and everything, somebody's gotta get in there, they can scrub the list and make sure that the departed or no longer there, and also the new people are in there.
I think the problem, especially in these instances, they were fixed in the most visible areas, but the problem is when you have data in there multiple ways, multiple times, to know to look for.
Yeah, we had talked about is, I know it should be a goal, or Dr. Clark was here, some of the duplicity
Yeah.
in the website, so, you know, you fix it here, but you forget to fix it there, it's just really, I'm not in there that often. I'm sure you use it a lot, probably where everything is, but I just don't find it too intuitive, that you can easily find things in there, like the extracurricular.
Yeah, well, that's why I actually went looking for the parent handbook, because I know it used to be in there, but then I couldn't find the parent handbook.
Yeah, but
on the
it should be
website.
like, you know, extracurricular, you click on that and it has all the different clubs and sports and everything. So, I mean, you know, I think it's like a patch it here and patch it there, but I think we need either a committee or something like that. I really think that the state and use some type of enhancement.
We actually budgeted for a move from the current platform to the school wires, which is a bigger, more common one with an app and everything. But we made a conscious decision that the tech department was really loaded with a lot of projects over the summer, and that we would wait until next summer to do the migration from the current platform, which I think is called School World, right, to School Wires. And School, when we do that, you know, obviously we'll fix these things anyway, but that will definitely have a better and easier way, because it can speak to our database. And what happens is, you know, at night it'll just update. So if somebody comes off, that person's gone, and then the new person goes in automatically. So that's the kind of stuff.
Oh, that's a much
So we can enhance, concurrent with that change.
fancier website then.
Enhance the
Yeah.
website too. Or they give us a new website.
To a whole new website. It'll be the same address and everything, it'll just be a new
Yeah,
website.
it'll be just more intuitive.
Yeah, and there'll be an app too, because what's, really when websites first came out for schools, people were on their computers. But now people are using their phones really for almost everything. So if we can put everything on an app like that, where you have really everything right in your Denville Schools app. If you ever get a chance, you want to just mess around, if you go in the App Store and look for the Edison Schools app, it's pretty amazing what Edison has for their app. And pretty much everything you want is right on your phone. So that's something we had to make a conscious decision that it was just going to be too much for the summer to make sure. We want to do everything we want to do everything right, so we put this on hold. Look for next year.
Just to add to the other, so I'll go on to Genesis. Went to the drop-down list to change the name from my son to my daughter. Wasn't there. I think I submitted an email Friday night, and I think within 20 minutes, Ms. Costanza got back to me and said it was done. You know, I mean, it was quick. I wasn't expecting anything that weekend, let alone that same night, so just wanted to make sure that he knew that. And then there was a posting in the Lakeview Fire Folder that I emailed Steve about this morning that has a parent checklist, so for our audience and our viewing members at home. I had a little parent checklist of things that they can go through, it's required to do for Lakeview. I thought it was worthwhile that folks, you know, I click on all of them just to see what's in there, because there are differences within the schools, so.
We're going to link
Probably
that
could have
to,
it, probably could have it for other people to get into the phone, you know, like,
we're going to link that one into the other two schools. But you're right, you know, I thought about that. Sometimes doing things just because you have to do it, and then you lose sight of why you're doing it.
I look at
That's a good point.
you know, you get into these administrative modes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But just to add to Mariana's thing, so I went onto the website, across from the phone, and I clicked on Nick's email, sent an email, and I did not get a bounce back. So his mailbox is probably still live, and I just hope that access to it for him.
Did you get the email back then? You didn't get one of those that said, I'm out of office?
No, I didn't even get that office.
Okay, I'll look at that.
Yeah.
Hey Steve, just to add on to the kind of good reports that I've gotten, I had a parent who had a question on transportation, sent an email in, and was very impressed with their reaction and expedited response and the answer they got. So really good feedback I've gotten. And I had a parent on Genesis issue too. I sent them the website, the email address, and they said they got back right away on it. So any small little issues, you're always gonna have little glitches, but anything seems like it's been getting resolved pretty quickly. The only question I had was on the kindergarten. I know that the cards went out without the bus numbers on them. Was there any plan to?
It's on Genesis.
Okay.
The bus number's on Genesis now.
Okay.
So when we sent out the email to go on Genesis, we gave a little cheat sheet on how to get on if you're a new parent, you don't know how to get on. And then the bus number is right in that thing, it says route number, and that's the number.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe we may want to just mention it at the orientations that are coming up, just that if they have any questions on the bus number or anything to go on through. I've had this question, I know I've asked it last year, and I'll mention it again this year for future reference. I don't understand why we have two different bus numbers. It seems like the bus route should just reverse. I mean, but if the bus goes this way, can it go this way on the way home? So I don't know why there's two different buses on like my kids' routes.
Every kid, all the years, some kids were here.
It seems like we complicate that.
I don't
I
know
don't know
anything about
why,
that.
I don't know why they
And
drop,
it's
I
different
don't know why
bus
the bus
drivers.
stop.
It is,
different
different
bus
bus drivers. It seems like you'd have the same bus driver that knows the kids. And it's just a recommendation for future when we go, especially if we're gonna make a big change next year.
Yeah.
Or potentially look into it. It's just an option to kind of maybe be a little more efficient. That's all.
My kid has two different buses and two different bus stops, but it's the next door. Like, so one is 34 miles, one's 32 miles. I don't know why, like in the morning,
I
they
never
go
had
to
different stuff, but I
32.
always had different bus drivers with different routes.
Well, some of these drivers are part-time and they do the morning, but they don't do the afternoon.
No, I don't think
It
so.
would be the same bus
It is
number.
that? It's two both.
The older bus drivers.
I don't know why.
Okay.
But when we go,
Us having the bus numbers available on Genesis, because
Yeah.
that was never, in all my years, able to be done, put on that postcard, so I guess that's wonderful.
it's one of those things where we had the two databases talking to each other. So that's the good thing. So when somebody drops out, it'll speak to each other and it'll drop the kid out of the bus. Because then we're finding all the kids that are, they've taken a snapshot from this day. And a lot of things change throughout the year, right? So now we're still looking at all these kids that are on the bus. And this kid moved, that kid goes to a Catholic school now. And now it'll just, every night, it will just pull the kids out, put the new kids in and stuff like that. When I first came here, I talked to you about how Genesis needs to be the genesis of everything, pretty much, and it wasn't. So I think it's like a 2 full year project to get everything speaking to each other and get our databases all squared away so that they work. And basically, what we want to do is, when a new employee comes in, you put it in, and when an employee leaves, you just deactivate it. And that'll pull them out of the website, it'll pull them out of email, it'll do all that. So that's what we're working on. But I think it's going to take us, I think we're about 50% there. It's taking a while. And then some of our systems are a little bit more antiquated than the others. They will not talk to Genesis. So we're migrating to a different system, so that takes a little longer. So it's getting there. And then every time we do it, we have to pay a small fee, $500 or something like that as a fee for a connection. I don't know what's that called. It's 2 databases and something like that.
And you or a new BBC connection.
Something like that. But there's a fee usually, but we're getting there. The good thing is we want to have solid data in our database. That's what we're working to do.
And Steve, you can cross that off. I just got the undeliverable message. So,
You did get it?
and I forwarded it to you.
Okay, good.
So he's definitely out.
Did it right from here?
Yeah.
Is there any others?
When a person leaves now, who's an administrator, or like Jennifer, we left it on for a month with the forwarding information, and then we deactivated it after the 30th day. So that's probably why you're getting that now.
Okay, at this time, I guess 8:07 by the library clock. We open it up for the second public comment section for anything germane to the district. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, close it at 8:07. Do we have like a need for an exec?
No.
Any final comments from anybody?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, well, I think Mariana beat you to it tonight. You want to second it?
Second?
All right, so Mariana moves and Don seconds to adjourn. Yeah, let's not forget the A's and the nays. Any A's?
Oh,
All in
Yay.
favor? Yay, no nays? Nays? All right, we're adjourned at 8:08. Thank you, everyone.
I think that's it.